The biggest thing I noticed right away is how quiet this bike is while still feeling solid under me. I can ride hard early in the morning, and it does not turn the whole house into my workout soundtrack. This is the Yosuda Light commercial exercise bike for home, and it sits in that sweet spot between a basic budget spin bike and the huge, heavy cardio machines that take over a room. I think it makes the most sense for someone like me who wants consistent cardio at home, wants something stable enough to push, and also needs it to be calm and low noise for shared spaces. If you live in an apartment, if you have a baby sleeping in the next room, or if you just do not want to feel self-conscious about how loud your workouts are, this one is built for that kind of reality. In terms of design, it has that classic indoor cycling look, but what affects daily use is the way it moves, the way it feels when you stand up and pedal, and how quickly you can get comfortable on it. The frame feels heavy and planted, like it is not going to scoot around when I get out of the saddle. At the same time, it is not a nightmare to reposition. There are transport wheels up front, and in real life that means I can tilt it and roll it to the side when I am done. I have moved it from one room to another without needing help, and that matters more than people think because if a bike is annoying to live with, you will use it less. The touch points are mostly well done. The pedals have an aggressive textured surface, and I will be honest, I would not ride this barefoot. With sneakers on, the grip feels secure and confident, and the straps help lock my feet in, so I am not thinking about foot placement during intervals. The seat is better than I expected for this type of bike. I am not going to tell you it feels like a luxury cruiser seat, but I have done longer rides where I got off feeling like my legs were cooked and my lungs were happy, and the seat was not the reason I stopped. Being able to adjust it up and down and also slide it forward and back is a big deal, because getting your position right changes everything. Once I dialed it in, my knees felt aligned, and that is what I care about. The little console up front is simple, and that is a compliment. When I am riding, I want my time, distance, calories, and pace style info in front of me without fiddling. It is readable, it does the job, and it does not distract me. I also like that the resistance control is straightforward. I can reach down and change the feel mid-ride without breaking rhythm. On a bike like this, that knob becomes your whole training plan. Light resistance for warm-ups, heavier resistance for climbs, then back down for recovery. It responds quickly enough that I can do interval work without feeling like I am waiting on the bike. Setup was realistic for one person at home. It took me a bit of time, and I did it the way most people actually do it, with the bike laid out on the floor, slowly matching parts, tightening things down, and double-checking that it all feels secure. Nothing about it felt confusing, but I do recommend taking your time on the seat and handlebar adjustments before you decide it feels right. Once it was assembled, the day-to-day use became simple. I just hop on, tighten the straps, set my resistance, and go. Now for the core performance, the flywheel feel and the noise level are the two things I kept paying attention to. The pedaling is smooth, and the resistance changes do not feel jerky. When I increase tension, I feel more load through my legs, and it stays consistent as I keep spinning. The bike does not feel like it is fighting me with weird dead spots. The quiet part is real. You hear your breathing and the light mechanical sound of movement, but it is not that loud chain noise that some bikes have, and it does not sound like metal scraping or rattling. That quietness is the reason I have stayed consistent with it. I can put on a video or just ride in silence, and it does not feel like I am running a machine shop in my living room. Stability is another performance point that shows up when you start pushing. I do sessions where I stand up and drive my legs like I am climbing. On some bikes, that is where you start feeling wobble or the bars feel flexy. Here it stays composed. I still feel the natural movement of my body, but the bike itself does not feel unsettled. That gives me confidence to actually train, not just casually pedal. I tested this in a few real scenarios. One day I did an easy, steady ride while answering messages on my phone during recovery minutes, and it was comfortable and quiet enough that I did not feel rushed or distracted. Another day I did harder intervals where I pushed resistance up, got out of the saddle, and tried to get my heart rate up fast. That is where I appreciated the quick resistance changes and the stable frame. I also tried a longer ride just to see what would annoy me over time. The things that usually show up are seat discomfort, foot numbness, or handlebars feeling awkward. After I adjusted the fit properly, it stayed comfortable enough that I could focus on the workout instead of constantly shifting around. A specific use case I keep coming back to is evening rides with a tablet. There is a tablet holder, and it is one of those small features that actually changes behavior. I can follow along with a cycling class video or watch something while I ride, and it keeps me on the bike longer. The mount has felt secure in my use, and it is positioned where I do not have to crane my neck. That sounds minor, but if your posture is off for 30 to 40 minutes, you feel it. The Bluetooth connection is another feature that I actually used, not just tested once. Pairing it with a fitness app lets me track my rides over time, and that gives me a simple way to stay accountable. I like being able to look back and see that I rode 3 times this week, even if the sessions were not perfect. The bike itself is not trying to be a complicated smart device, but it gives enough connectivity to make progress tracking feel modern. I do have a couple of realistic criticisms. The pedals are definitely designed for shoes, so if you were hoping to hop on barefoot for a quick casual spin, I would not recommend it. Also, like most bikes in this category, the onboard display is functional, not fancy. If you want a giant screen or a built-in coaching system, this is not that kind of product. This is more about a solid ride experience, low noise, and practical features that make you more likely to use it. So here is how I would sum it up. If you want a sturdy, quiet exercise bike that feels dependable in daily use, and you care more about smooth riding and adjustability than flashy screens, this is a strong option. I think it is especially good for home users who need low noise, want to move the bike around without a struggle, and want a setup that supports both easy cardio and harder interval sessions. If you have any questions about my experience with it, or you want me to test a specific workout style on it, leave a comment and I will reply. Subscribe to the channel for more real-world reviews like this, and thank you for watching.